What is going on, paper lovers? Welcome back to the Legion of Comics. Today, we're here with the top 10 new comics coming out September 11th, 2024. There are some bangers. Let's get into it. Huge shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. If you need any amazing exclusives, con exclusives, mystery boxes, be sure to check them out. And if you need anything cleaned or pressed or submitted into the grading services for you, Justin's got you covered, as well as check out the links in the description for ABX Comics and Games. That's my local comic shop where I'll be picking up all the books on this list. They run a fantastic Facebook group. You can keep up with new comics as well as tabletop gaming and more fantastic stuff in the description of all the videos. Some great resources. Don't miss out on any of that. So let's get into it. This is September 11th, 2024, new comic book day, and there's a lot of really good ones, some stuff wrapping up and some stuff really kicking off. But let's kick into it. These are in no specific order, but we are kicking it off with an absolute banger, and that's going to be Transformer issue number 12 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona. This is the finale to the second arc. So we're halfway through Daniel Warren Johnson's tenure on Transformers. I think it was announced like a week or so ago that he's going to be ending at issue 24, which is super sad, but at least we have him for 24 issues. That's a pretty long run. But this is the big finale. We got Shockwave, we got the Star Bridge, we have Cybertron. It's all going down. I believe we're going to see the death of Optimus Prime in this. If I'm not mistaken, dude's going to go down like a sack of potatoes. I'm expecting to see Megatron's return as well based on some of the artwork that's out there. But I'm really excited for it. This has been a phenomenal series. When it comes to the Energon universe, this is the one that everyone really keeps up with the most, I believe. I love what's happening in Void Rivals, but this one right here, this is the one. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. Go back and get the collected volumes for that first story arc and get prepared for this one. Next up, kicking right into the absolute power books for the week, we'll have a couple of tie-ins, starting with Green Lantern issue number, let's see, this is issue number 15. So we saw what happened in the events of Absolute Power issue number last week, but now we're going to see how it all came to be. It looks like some more details are going to be given about Hal's incredible adventure going from being depowered and imprisoned to self-powered and on Themyscira, where we last saw him. We're going to see him collecting the weapons from the rogues and other villains so that the heroes have the ability to fight back. And much like the cover of Green Lantern issue 14, where you see him driving in the Batwing, it looks like those events will be taking place inside the pages of this issue. I almost feel like they got the covers flip-flop for last issue and this issue, but it's still going to be a good time. He's also looking for a way to get to the central power battery, possibly. While his ring is depowered, he can't really do much else, but it has been revealed earlier in this run that there is a central power battery inside the green on Earth. So I wonder if he can get to it. Next up, this one's really, really exciting. I'm so glad that this title is returned. It went on a very, very long hiatus, but we're back, and this is the third issue into being back with number 25, which is a landmark issue. And typically this book is very episodic, where each issue covers a different kind of conspiracy mystery topic. But issues, since we returned with issue 23, 24, now 25, it's just been one story focusing specifically on one of our title characters, Lee Harvey Oswald, and his real history, his involvement in events, as well as the truth behind what happened in Dallas, Texas on the day that JFK was assassinated. So I'm excited to dive into this and get so much information about these characters that are really like the bedrock for the Department of Truth itself. Next up on the list, we have Geiger issue number 6 from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. This is supposed to be an epilogue to the first volume because the arc felt like it ended with the last issue. We did see the final confrontation with Tariq Geiger and the electrician. We also have that big stinger at the end where it showed us Washington, D.C. for the first time and saw that it's being ran by a character called President Griffin, who's clearly the Invisible Man. And in this one, we're going to see some of the fallout from the fight with the electrician, primarily with Barney. So we're getting some more character development with this two-headed wolf Barney here, which I'm excited about. They better not kill this dog. I'm just going to keep saying that. Don't kill the dog. Next up, Absolute Power continues with our second tie-in for the week, Task Force 7, issue number 6 of 7. We're going back and checking out the Amazo android that we were really most first introduced to at the beginning of the event. But Paradise Lost is the name of this one. It has absorbed the powers of Wonder Woman and has been set loose on Themyscira. Themyscira was thought to be invisible to the outside world. thanks to a lot of the high technology on Themyscira, Queen Brainiac was able to infiltrate, and they led an entire onslaught in that last issue between her and Superboy. It was pretty rough, and they got them out of there. They got all the heroes out of there. Now it looks like the Amazons are left stuck with dealing with an Amazo robot all on their own. So we'll see what happens with it. And be sure to check out Sector 2815, link below. Him and I do a DC Comics deep dive that posts on Mondays where we go through all the events that are happening at DC Comics. So right now we're focusing on Absolute Power. So if you're not reading it or you want to know what's going on, you can get all the details right over there. Next up, Elseworlds still kicking, and it's a big week for Elseworlds. We got more than one title, but Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, issue number 4. We're going to be focusing and studying the always amazing Alan Scott, who's now in control of the Green Lantern ring. We're also going to be seeing how a young, excited reporter by the name of Lois Lane is going to Kansas to try to figure out who this person who's wanting to buy the Daily Planet is. And it's none other than Lex Luthor. So we're introducing a lot of extra characters. This is a Batman title by name, but it's feeling like a Justice League comic by design, which I have no problem with whatsoever. Next up with this beautiful Francisco Mattina cover, Space Ghost, issue number 5. He's fighting Zorak. We saw the big stinger in the last issue. The way that Zorak is being introduced in this is like he's the leader of a death cult, an absolute savage and a psychopathic killer, and he's got the kids. So Space Ghost is on the job to come battle out and stop him. I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to run through all of Space Ghost's bad guys or his rogues, or if they're going to be reoccurring villains. I'm not sure how they're going to handle it yet, but I'm interested to find out. A lot of people know these characters from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and Zorak is no different. So it's pretty interesting to see. That cover art is insane. It's absolutely insane. Good job, Skynet. Next up, Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons, Volume 2, titled Son of Giants. Issue number 3 right here. We're going back and actually seeing the origin of Mothra and how it ties in to ancient Egypt, which is super exciting. And then in the modern time of our story here, which is the 1700s, the Sons of Giants, organization, secret society, are diving more into what originally drew the kaiju to ancient Rome that destroyed it. So this is an absolutely banger of a book. I think it's something Thierry is writing it, doing an amazing job, and Naki Miranda is on the art, which is always stellar. And it's just fun how we're intertwining the history of the kaiju in with the history of the world and kind of using the narrative of this secret society that are the few people aware of them to kind of feed us the story. It's really, really good. If you enjoy history especially, this is a banger. Next up, Miller World, Kicking Like Bruce Lee, Prodigy, Slaves of Mars, issue number 2. Edison Crane has been framed for murder. His company's been taken over. He's got no money. He's got no home. He's got nowhere to go. So he's going to turn to his older and smarter brother for help, which is interesting because up until this point, we had no clue Edison Crane had an older brother. We've already had 2 volumes of Prodigy. We've had Big Game, and this is the first we're hearing about it. So I'm excited to dive more into his family dynamic. They taught us and teased us with some information about his father in the last issue and the fact that he had an older brother that was the favored one. So I want to get into that dynamic and see what's really going on. I have a feeling already maybe his brother's the bad guy behind all of this. That's tends to be how a lot of these go. And for number 10 this week, we have DC versus Vampires World War V, which is technically volume 2, but it's really volume 3 because there's a little spin-off volume during volume 1. Anyways, somebody Rosenbaum, hashtag not Tynan, is writing this. Issue 1 was okay. I'm a Deceased guy. I'm going to say this every time. Deceased, this is Deceased. It's the same thing. Take the fangs out and make them ugly, and you got Deceased. Like, Deceased did it better, but this is still fun. You read these for the shock value, like who's going to get brutally murdered and how are they going to do it. It's almost like Final Destination DC Comics, but it is pretty fun. That first issue was okay. They kind of give us the dynamic of like the world where we're getting introduced to it or reintroduced to it. Vampires are existing and thriving here. Humans are existing and suffering here. They have a pact to not kill each other. And in the middle is Damian Wayne, the vampire child of Batman, who's gone to a personal war against all vampires, and he's ruining the truce between the two of them. We saw where he sent his minions in to assassinate the vampire queen Barbara Gordon in the last issue. In the last page, it kind of shows that they might have succeeded. They firebomb her, and it looks like she wasn't doing too hot. Judging from the cover here, we don't have any information. It looks like Wonder Woman and Alfred on there, but That's where we're going to be picking up this. The alliance or the truce is falling. Damien's the cause of it. The humans want to catch up to him and get him to stop. The vampires want to catch up to him and stop him themselves. We'll see what's going to happen in this issue. All in all, I'm excited to check it out. I hope it's fun. That's all we really want out of these comics, is to have a good time, escape for a little bit, and be able to talk about it with our friends. That's going to be it for the top 10 list. Leave a comment. Let me know which ones you're looking forward to pick up. I know there's no Marvel on the list. I've said it before. Do better, Marvel. Happy to put you on the list if you write good books. So that's going to do it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that join button, become a channel member. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.